Alright, today we're making a video of my 63 Ghia. It's for sale, obviously, and people have been asking me a lot of questions about how it looks, so I'm making a video right now. Alright, so let's start with some reasons why this is a $3,000 car-ish and not a $10,000 car. Number one is going to be the wiring. This wiring job is pretty sketchy. It's made me pretty good at wiring myself to fix it, but it's not a very good job as far as that goes. It's kind of hacked together in a lot of ways, but I mean, it's not terrible. It's not starting on fire or anything, but it's not great. Good news is most everything electronic that you need to be legal works. The wipers work fine, lights work fine, blinkers, all that stuff. The other big issue with these cars is rust. Not just this car, but pretty much every Ghia has problems with rust. You can see it down here, along here. There's quite a bit of rust. See here, this is under the battery. It's a very, very typical rust spot for Ghias, and this one is no exception. All right, you can see back here behind the rear wheel. Really, the rear is the most rusty place in this entire car. On both sides, these rear quarter panels. If you want it to be perfect, you'd replace it. It's fine, it's sturdy as is. It's not about to break. But back here, you can see all the way through. Perfectionists will hate that. For me, I just enjoy driving the car, so it's not that big of a deal. So here we are under the car. You can see that where the old floorboard is. Right here, this is all the old floorboard, and this is the new floorboard. It's definitely sturdy. It's not going anywhere, but the old floorboard is just kind of there. It's not doing it any favors. It's not hurting anything really, but it's just how it is. And it's not pretty, but the old floorboards are solid. I could stomp on them and they're not going to break. You can see the lower rockers don't have any holes in them. These typically do rust really bad, but these are fine. I believe they're bondoed. I'm pretty sure they are. Jack point's still in place. Here's another spot where we got some rust. This is the very front of the car. It's not too good. There's a bit of a hole here, and it's patched over with some metal, but it's not pretty if you're under the car. You don't even notice it if you're driving it or looking at it from the street, but it's there. Here's a front headlight right here. These parts right here typically roughed out on Ghias. This is Bondo. Some parts of it are at least Bondo, or some kind of filler. It's not going anywhere or chipping away, but for perfectionists, you're gonna want to fix that somehow. But it's fine for driving. It doesn't give me any problems. Holds the light where it needs to be. All right, I'll move on to the interior. These seats are not the stock Ghia seats. I'm guessing they were probably really awful, so they put some ones from a donor car. I think it was a late 60s Ghia into there. And there are other parts of this car that are from that late 60s Ghia, such as that door handle and these entire doors. You can see the lock right here. That's where on the late 60s Ghia the lock would be, but this car, the locks are on the door handle, where the early 60s Ghia would have them. You can see I have some parts and stuff here. I've been working on the car recently. This was the heater activating knob. It does not work because there are no heater boxes on this car. It has J-tubes because the heater boxes were all rusted out, and they were making an exhaust leak, and you don't want that. It was very noisy. It was fun, but it's a bit too noisy for my neighbors. All right, here's a back seat, toolbox that goes with the car. It fits just right in there. Some spare stuff, jumpers, jack stand, all those useful things that you might need on the side of the road. You know, old Volkswagens is kind of what you do once in a while, is get on the side of the road. Here's my dash right now. This is an old Porsche speedometer. The one that came with the car, which was 12 volt. Originally it was a 6 volt, then they replaced them with this style right here. I think this is a late 60s or early 70s Bug, But this one had a matching speedometer, which I still have it. It'll go with the car. But that speedometer got gunked up and broke. So I put this one from an old Porsche in there. It works fine. Here's where the radio would be. I just got a little fuse box diagram here. It helps me out once in a while with the awesome electronics in this car. Jesus, keep me safe. Here's the rear view. I think this is also from the later Ghia. The actual rear view would be here. That's why there's a hole that comes in the headliner for this car. It's because the actual mirror goes in here. I think clips on right there. So if I don't have the 63 mirror, but if you were to get one, then you could put it right in there and just take this one off. I think there's something attaching it right there. Glove box. It does its job. All right, everything works. The wipers work fine. The lights work fine. Okay, wipers here. Also, I have this sweet custom horn. It's very entertaining to drive around with. Yeah, the parking brake works as it should. Transmission does what it's supposed to. Goes in reverse when you tell it to. Doesn't give you any complaints. It just drives like a nice old Volkswagen. Not too slow. It's got enough speed on it. It'll get up and go when you tell it to. Come on,